Ever since reading John Krakauer's book Into Thin Air, which is about a particular Everest expedition, I've been somewhat fascinated by the ridiculously insane sport of mountaineering. The second highest mountain in the world after Everest is K2. In fact, it's more dangerous to climb than Everest. For every 4 people who summit K2, there will be 1 fatality on the mountain, which is pretty absurd. This particular board game was actually designed by a mountaineer, and that expertise comes through in the brilliant way in which a very simple rule set is translated into very evocative theme. It also comes with rules for solo play, so I'll be doing a solo playthrough, and the map I'll be playing on comes from the Broad Peak expansion for K2. This isn't meant to teach you how to play the game, I just want to give you a general overview of how the game plays. So here I am, ready to start ascending the mountain. I'm using the summer weather to give myself half a chance of getting there, and we'll see how that goes for me. So I have all my cards out for my first turn ready to go, and let's start climbing. I'm going to take it slowly at first, because one thing about the solo game is that the larger acclimatization cards are removed from the deck. And so you need to spend the time at the bottom of the mountain getting your oxygen levels up. So I'll go ahead and take this -1 penalty token, which means that each climber is going to move 1 space this turn. Now we get to both boost our oxygen levels by 1. And the weather advances. We don't have to worry about the weather at all until we're above the 6,000 meter mark. So we'll get some new cards. Be good to spend some time acclimatizing. And we'll take a 0 penalty marker here. So we'll help one of our climbers with their oxygen levels with that card. Each climber is now going to go up 1 space again. And they both acclimatize 1 more of their oxygen levels again. We advance the weather. 3 new cards. Now, let's see, we do want to keep getting those oxygen levels up. I'll probably take a -1 token this time, so we'll apply that to here. And we'll take a 2 movement, or let's see, I still have this thing, okay. So this is going to help this climber with their oxygen. This 2 becomes a 1 to climb 1 up to here. And then this 2 is going to be used to run up this way. Now both climbers get 1 more on the oxygen, and we get a new weather tile. And 3 more cards. Since these are our last cards from the deck before we reshuffle, I actually have to plan both of my turns. Let's see, are we ready to leave the comfort of the bottom of the mountain? We're both at 5 on our oxygen levels, so let's just start moving upward. And let's get rid of one of these -2 tokens, since one's going to have to be used eventually anyhow. So we'll apply that to a 3 movement card to make it a 1. And then we'll use 2 upward numbers. So this climber is going to move 1 space up to here. This climber is going to move 4 to go 2, 4. Now the yellow numbers indicate harder climbing. Nobody gains or loses any oxygen levels at this point, so we'll advance the weather. Now the weather from 6,000 right to the top of the mountain is quite bad, so we won't be passing that line anyhow, but that's something to consider if we were up higher. Our final 3 cards are going to be, let's use the -1 on here. Actually, let's see, we need to get to here. I'd rather actually take the 0 so that I have 4 climbing ability, so that I can go 2, 4. Now we're at the 2 victory point level with this climber, so we advance on our victory track. And this climber will stay where they are. Nobody gains or loses oxygen. And the weather's nice on the mountain as we shuffle up our cards for the next turn. Looking ahead at the weather, the level from 6 to 7,000 is going to be bad for a couple of turns coming up. So that might be tricky to navigate. We might have to get this climber through that level pretty quickly. Maybe get our second climber sort of just below that 6,000 meter line. So our 6 new cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this turn weather's good, so maybe what I'll do is do some fast climbing with this climber. Perhaps even climb up to 5 spaces with a -1, making it 4. We'll apply the -1 to the other climber's card, which means they're going to stay stationary. Well, the other one continues to rocket up the mountain, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, right up to the 5 victory points level. However, now they're getting into the danger zone, and as a result of being here, they're going to lose one of their oxygen levels. The weather does not cause any further problems, so everybody else stays where they are. And we go ahead and advance to the next weather tile. And we gain 3 new cards. So we're going to have to take a -1 penalty token this time. And we need to get our lower climber up a little higher through that difficult section of the mountain there. I'd like to help the top climber with their little oxygen situation. One way I can do that is by spending 2 movement points, since I'm above 7,000 meters, to build a snow tent. So I think that's what I'll do for them. The other climber, let's go ahead and give them 3 climbing points, subtracted by 1. So this climber is going to spend their 2 points to build that snow tent, which gives them +1 on their oxygen level to cancel out the -1 of the high altitude there. The other climber is going to just use their 2 to climb over to here. And now, from 6 to 7,000 meters, the climbers would be losing some extra oxygen, but we're safe there. This cancels this, so they're stable, and nothing else happens with the oxygen levels. So we go ahead and advance to a nice day on the mountain before things get really quite nasty for the next few turns. Next turn, 6 to 7,000 is going to be even worse. So that's something to be aware of. Our snow tent starts to melt a little bit. Better remember that. You can stay there one more turn to take advantage of it. In the meantime, let's get the other climber moving some more. And let's combine this with that. So this climber stays where they are. Let's help them with their oxygen level with this anyhow, to get them back up to 5. This climber will be climbing a total of 2 to get up to here. Now our oxygen situation, nothing happens with this climber. The tent or the cave cancels out this before it fully melts away. And we gain 3 new cards. Now we get into some nasty weather. Did I forget to advance this before? I think I did. I think we should be here with the weather. Which means that only at the peak of the mountain is the weather bad. But the turn after that, everything from 7,000 to the top is going to be really bad for a turn. So we're going to have to think about another snow cave, maybe next turn. So, what can we do? We have to play in both turns at once with our 6 cards again. And we have a lot of low numbers, which is a little frightening. However, take a -1 with a 3 to get this climber up to here. We'll get some acclimatization for that maybe top climber again, because they're going to get just a little bit higher yet. Next turn, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think I'm going to be building a snow cave. So this climber is going to go use the 2 to get to here to get them to the 2 victory point level. This climber will give them a bit of oxygen. And then let them climb up 1 more, still in the 5 victory point level. Now this climber stays stable. This climber has to lose 1 oxygen level. Then we advance the weather to where things get really frightening here. So it's not much to do with these 3 cards. I'm going to spend my... Oh no, oh no. So here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to put the -1 to apply to my acclimatization. So the climber that's acting here is going to be building a snow cave at their location, but they're going to be losing 1 oxygen level thanks to this penalty token. And nothing else is happening movement-wise. So this climber still remains stable. This climber, the cave cancels this out, but they lose 2 extras because there's some bad weather up there. They're getting into a bit of a rough situation. And their cave gets a little smaller. So weather turns nice for 1 turn. I wonder if did I skip that weather? Yeah. Alright, 6 cards. I know you're all yelling at your screens telling me what I did, and I'll figure it out shortly. Alright, now this climber needs help. Let's give them some oxygen. That's the first thing. Other frightening thing that's going on here is we have nothing but -2 penalty tokens to apply. So it's not amazing, but got to do it. So this climber is getting a bit of oxygen, a bit of life back into them. This one can move a total of 2 spaces. So let's get into the danger zone now. 1, 2. Now we're up to level 4 victory points with that move. Now the situation is they are losing some stamina. This climber here, because of the nice weather and their cave, is remaining stable for a turn. So they do lose their cave, however. And we advance to here. And now we have our 6 cards and nothing but -2s to choose from. Oh my goodness. Alright. So weather this turn is going to be bad on the whole mountain area. The next 2 turns actually are looking pretty rough for the top section of the mountain. We have -2 penalty tokens to deal with. So we better get all the climbing power we can get. Because that's canceling out a full card. Phew. Well, I really need to build a cave for this climber again. I hate to just stagnate and not move, but that might be the thing I have to do here. Because I don't have any big climbing cards to get up there. See what I'm saying here? That's really the best I can do, I guess, is build yet another cave to try to stay alive up there. With this 2. This 2 gets cancelled. And this 1 allows me to get a little higher with this climber to get still at level 4, but we're moving, at least, making some progress. And this climber has to go backwards 1. Oh wait, they're above 6,000. So they have to go back -2, in fact. That's not good. And this climber would be -2, but the cave allows it to be -1. So this is a little frightening. I have to get through 3 more turns. Oh, which means I did advance 1 extra on the weather. You know what? That's unfortunate. Well, we'll pretend our last turn is going to be good weather then. Okay, we have a bit of oxygen coming here. From 7,000 up is going to be bad news. So this climber better stay where they are. And we have a 0 to use, so let's take advantage of this. Did my snow cave come off this turn or not? I can't remember. Well, I think we're going to be moving with that climber anyhow, so let's go ahead and give them a 2 upward movement to do something with. And then, this is frightening. We need that for sure. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if we're going to survive, but let's see what happens. So, 0 penalties this turn, thankfully. 1 oxygen for our climber at the top here. And then 3 climbing points for them to go 2, 3 up to the 6-point level. The other climber will stay where they are and not feel so good there. Oh, I'm the -2 there though. You know what? I had better stop here and waste 1 of my climbing points, because that's not going to be a good situation otherwise. So from 7,000 up, it's going to be -2. Oh my gosh, that's no good. This climber has to go back 1. So both my climbers at this point are barely hanging on to life. 1 more loss of oxygen, and they are finished with their climbing careers. So how am I going to salvage this? I've got 2 turns remaining. I'm going to go ahead and advance this, and like I said, pretend the last turn is a good weather turn. So here, only 8,000 up is a real problem. Now, I need a snow cave for sure. I don't think I'm going to be able to get much higher with that climber. This comes off now. So I need 2 points to build a snow cave. Let's make it a 3 and apply a -1 to that. The other climber, gosh, You have to build a cave too. But it only costs them 1 climbing point to build a cave below 7,000 meters. So they just need a 1. Let's give them a 2 card with that, and then figure out what we want to do with our other climber. We only need 2 climbing points with that climber. So let's do this. All we're doing this turn is building caves to try to stay alive. So this person gets their cave, this person gets their cave, and that's all that done. A 0. Like, happy to see that. So this turn, bad weather's only at the top of the mountain, so the cave cancels out -1, cave cancels -1, both climbers stay alive. Can we get higher for some last ditch points here? That's the question. With our final turn, because I skipped our good weather, our weather's good for our last turn. What can we do with this? Oh, we have a 0 here, which is great. So I can get 1 climber higher for sure. Our caves have to get a little smaller here. So what I'm going to do is use 4 climbing points to go 2, 4 to make the cave. That gets them up to the 5-point level. Nothing happens here. And this cave cancels out that -1. This cave cancels out that -1. Both climbers stay barely alive. And our final victory points then are 6 and 5 is 11 points. And let's have a look in the book to see how 11 points rank me. Actually, I have to look in the expansion booklet since I'm playing the expansion map. 11 victory points give me the rank of hiker, which is the 2nd worst rank. Had I had less than 11 points, I would have been the lowest level of all, which is tourist. Had I been able to get to 16 or higher, 16 or 17, I would have been alpinist, and a full 20 points would have been a Himalayan mountaineer. But I barely managed to get to the 2nd worst level of hiker, and that is K2. Hey, what's up? It's Josh here, just wanting to thank you for sticking around right to the end of the video. I really do appreciate that. If you want to give me a little support, a thumb up would be really appreciated. I'd love it if you would share the link for this video with one of the gamers in your life, and I hope I'll see you next time. Cheers. This little board game with a very simple rule set does a wonderful... This little board game does a... This little board game here, this isn't meant to teach you how to play the game. It's more meant, this isn't meant to teach you how to play the game, simply to give you an overview. And why do I have 3 tokens face up? I mean 4 tokens. Shoot, I think I'm going to start this one again. I've been messing too much stuff up.